Media, one of the most influential mediums in the world. The media has the power that no one else, the power to shape our opinions before we have the chance to have one. It plays an important role in shaping the opinions of the public. However, the media misrepresents many topics. In this case, it is the topics of Sikhism and Islam. Sikhs and Muslims are often the target of misrepresentation by the media, which is generally intended by the media. The facts portrayed by the media of Sikhs and Muslims are generally based on assumptions. Not all the Muslims are the same and not all the information is true. Sikhism and Islam are some of the largest religions in the world. Islam is a religion of peace, but unfortunately with all the misunderstandings towards our religion, people seem to have a different view of it. It's one of the largest growing religions in the world, with Muslims in every corner of the globe. The media portrays Muslims in a very negative manner because they think we're all terrorists or have evil backgrounds and that we have negative intentions. And I feel like if all the stereotypes were put against us in this reason, is why the media portrays us as in a negative way. The media portrays hijabs and burqas as they think these headgears are a sign of terrorism when they actually represent something totally different. So I guess the media doesn't allow the public to see the true meaning of these headgears, because if they did otherwise, the people would not think this way. In my opinion, the media represents Muslims as violent and heartless people who are extremists. Majority of these stereotypes are never accurate, but some of them are, because no matter how much we deny it, there are some Muslims that are extremists and some Muslims who make the rest of the Muslims look really bad. I think, well, with all the incidents that have happened in the past, such as 9/11, and the media that they showed, the people that were responsible for this seemed to have headgears and they had beards and they had the headscarf. So because of that issue, the media portrays Muslims to be the ones behind these issues, since they have the same outfits.
Said this week that you oppose construction of a new mosque in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. What's your objection to their building a new mosque?
Our Constitution guarantees separation of church and state. Islam combines church and state. They are using the church part of our First Amendment to infuse their mosque in that community, and the people in the community do not like it. They disagree with it.
Right. First, let's address what I believe may be some pronoun issues. Using our First Amendment to build their mosque. You think our First Amendment protects us from their mosque, when in reality, the First Amendment protects their mosque from us.
So you're saying any community, if they want to ban a mosque?
Yes, they have the right to do that. That's not discriminating based upon religion, against their particular religion.
I'm pretty sure that's the definition of discriminating based upon religion. Let me see if I can illustrate that by replacing the word mosque in that sentence, in the yes, they can ban the mosque sentence, with the word church, or synagogue, or church-synagogue, or Scientology Celebrity Center. See, unless you're suggesting Islam is something other than a religion.
Islam is both a religion and a set of laws, Sharia law. That's the difference between any one of our other traditional religions, where it's just about religious purposes.
Yes. It's very different. I read about the strangeness of their combination of religion and laws in my people's holy book, the Torah, which translated into English, I believe, literally means the law.
All right, so the turban is a part of the uniform of a Sikh. I think the media portrays the turban in multiple different ways. Lately, after 9/11, you're seeing a lot of relating the turban to terrorism, and because a lot of terrorists have them as well too lately. But historically, it's meant other things too. In India, it was always a sign of respect when people. Some of the stereotypes are accurate, but there's a lot of variance in this stereotype. Back home in India, historically Sikhs were usually regarded as being brave and being really for the country and helping out. Lately, you're starting to see the image changing. You're starting to see the bumbling idiot, and a lot of people are starting to act that way as well too. You're seeing more drunks portrayed as Sikhs and whatnot. In the West, you see a lot of, like I said before, terrorists that are associated with people with turbans. But I think we still have to establish ourselves in the West, so we just gotta work hard. I think it's human nature to relate stuff on past experience. So when they see terrorists blowing buildings up who had turbans on, a lot of people will equate one with the other. Is it a fair assumption? I don't think so. But we're all guilty of stereotyping here and there. But what I personally believe is that we just have to set a positive example and try to break those norms. Yeah, I think putting one's religion along with the news-related items, it points the religion in a bad light. And not all people are representative of their faith, and people act the way they want to act. So I don't think it's fair to put a religion in there. All religions preach the same stuff. They want people to be treated right. They want to help out and all that. So to put the religion in there, I don't think it's necessary. Maybe there's not a lot of good. I think more Sikhs should be doing more to make themselves known. They should be supporting charities. They should be helping out. They should be trying to maybe appear on media for positive stuff. Yes, there are some negative stuff that gets portrayed, but as Sikhs we have to be more proactive and optimistic and do more. Defining Sikhism is a very tough question to answer. There's a lot of different aspects. It is a religion, although some people see it as a philosophy. It takes a lot of different elements from other faiths, Hinduism, Islam. But basically it's a religion that its whole purpose is to train people on being selfless people, to help others, to respect others as equals, to help your fellow person, to service everyone else, and to protect the state as well too, because there are some aspects of that. I think the negative portrayal of Islam happens simply for ratings. I think people in the media like to have an enemy, and
well, I think that filmmakers don't really take the time to understand how Sikhs and Islam and Muslims actually are portrayed in real life. So everything becomes very superficial. The same way that we tend to portray women or people of color or any kind of diversity at all, television producers and directors and story writers will go with the stuff that they know and they understand, and will often be very superficial about everything else. And so all we ever see when we're looking at Muslims, for instance, would be a Muslim terrorist, you know, trying to take down the American government or something along those lines, which is completely and totally a contradiction to what Islam actually stands for. And I mean, Sikhism, they don't really treat Sikhs as anything different than Muslims, because as far as they're concerned, they're darker skinned, they wear some sort of strange head covering that nobody understands, and therefore they must be violent as well too. So the hijab is a tricky subject because not every Muslim woman chooses to wear a hijab, and many do. And I think that the issue with the media portrayal, or with the way people look at that, is they think of the hijab as a form of oppression for women, when the truth is that it really isn't, right? It's meant to be protection, it's meant to be a symbol of religion. And when you have these conflicting ideas, when you have this understanding that one side is saying oppression of women and one side is saying no, it's actually about, freedom and freedom of religion, then there's a lot of confusion about what it means for a woman to wear a hijab. So the media has a really hard time portraying or being able to understand the difference between someone who is Muslim and someone who is Sikh, because they are both similar ethnic, Middle Eastern, Arabic, South Asian background. As much as there's a huge genetic diversity between the two, to someone who doesn't take the time to be educated, they all look the same. And as well, there are head coverings. Sikh women also will sometimes wear a head covering that is not the hijab, but might look like it could potentially be a type of hijab. Plus, the turban versus the traditional Muslim cap, whose name I can't remember right now. Even though they look completely different when you actually look at them, people don't necessarily see that. They just see, darker skinned, South Asian, Arabic looking individual wearing some sort of head covering. And they confuse the two all the time, which is why, whenever there's some sort of terrorist attack, we hear about Sikh gurdwaras being bombed or vandalized, because people just don't take the time to notice the difference between the two. One thing that I think is a really important skill for all people to do is they need to look at the media with a grain of salt. So you can't buy 100% every single thing that the media is selling you. They are a business. They are trying to have people watch their television show, read their websites, buy their newspapers. So they're going to put stuff in that they think people are going to want to hear. But the truth is that the media does a quite poor job of representing individuals who are different than us. And I don't think that the response that we need to do is just say, oh, well, it was in the Toronto Star, or it was in the National Post, or it was on this particular website, so it must be true. It definitely should not be. We need to think critically, and we need to check our facts as much as we can about the truth.
In terms of Islamophobia and discrimination towards Sikhs, I feel that the media really tries to portray the group as being violent and aggressive, and that comes across in a lot of movies where people of that religion and faith come across as the villain in a lot of things, and that completely misinterprets what the religion is about and who the people are. And for that, I feel that the media is so wrong, because it just oppresses them continuously, and it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't build relations. It only breaks down what should be natural human connection.
There's a crime published, they will say young female Muslim this or Sikh, but you never hear like young white Christian out doing something, or they never say Catholic. So they often do put different religions with a crime and leave other religions out with crimes. And when you always see one specific or a couple of specific religions being used in association with describing a crime, you kind of think that people are assuming that they're putting their religion and the behavior together.